What's up, everybody? This is All Gas Podcast with Kevin and
Factor.
Here we are today, just giving you a live, up to date, what we got going on, just an idea of the podcast, throwing everything out there, getting started about what we got going on.
And what we plan to do with this podcast, what we want to do, bring highlights to the West Coast racers of the import world, try to get as much information out to as much people as possible, and let interview big racers, promoters, engine builders, engine tuners, all those guys. We want to give everybody a highlight, a chance, and a platform to promote themselves and to bigger and better the scene. So,
the West is where it's at. West has been on top for many years, and over the last few years, it's kind of taken a back seat to East Coast. East Coast holds all the records right now. East Coast has all the big events right now. So I think it's time to come back. I think it's back to the West Coast.
I think the West Coast has been making a slight comeback a little bit in the last 2-3 years. I think it's been coming back a little bit. But I think with this platform, I think we can help give it a big push and get it out there and get the name coverage, because we don't have the coverage that the East Coast has. And being the fact that I am also a racer and this is crew chief for my team, it's kind of hard to do media and race. So as in like covering,
it is. But you think about how many different media outlets they have out there. They got Sawspot, they got Hushacha, they got
E-Racer Productions.
They got E-Race. They got a lot.
They got a lot of guys that cover them.
I can't even think of anyone really out here. You got a few little guys, but no one that covers every event or even every large event. But you have a few that come here and there, but they're just not out there how the East Coast big media is. And
we're not gonna be able to make every event, but we're gonna do the best to make as much as possible, be involved in the scene with still being able to run. Well, me personally, trying to run my race program myself and further, race, help as a racer. So,
well, I think even if we don't make every event, we'll have people that'll be at events. We'll be able to give you a recap of the event, give you back coverage of the event. Just still give you the info you need to get, other than what we can provide of us being there.
Well, if you want to talk about kind of something like, what was it, IFO was just last weekend, and there wasn't too much coverage of it. Like, I didn't start seeing racing videos until Tuesday, Wednesday, and it was kind of like, I wanted to see who won or who whatever. I saw.
Yeah, I reached out to, probably 5 or 6 different racers, just saying, hey, how'd IFO go? Hey, how'd it go? Did anything happen? Who won what? It took me reaching out to figure out what was going on at IFO. That was only 2 hours away from us, 3 hours away from us.
Yeah.
So, that's what I mean by there's not a whole lot of media coverage. That's one of California's bigger events, and there was nobody there to cover it.
So, that's what we plan on doing, is trying to, make it to these events and get coverage for the people and to spread, the West Coast love, man, pretty much.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we're going to have a lot of interviews, a lot of special guests with us, not just going to be our ugly faces up on here every day.
You don't want to see us every day.
We're going to have, some big name people. I got contacted a few people. We got a bunch of people lined up. A lot of people you want to hear from. A lot of street people, a lot of track people, a lot of builders, a lot of tuners. There's a lot of good people lined up.
We're not going to just cover track events. We got to let them know that we are also involved in the streets. I wouldn't say heavy, but pretty tough. We are involved in the streets, and we want to give a lot of those guys who don't go to the track events and are got a name in the streets and are popular in the streets and fast in the streets. We want to give those guys attention too. Don't necessarily promote street racing, but we do at the same time. I can't sit there and say I ain't never done it once or twice or maybe 3,000 times, but
hey. Who hasn't been out there on the road,
I think for the most part, most people kind of get their start on the streets. I know that's where I got mine.
For the most part, yeah. How many people meet up with a buddy on the side of the road and say, hey, let's run them, or, give your 3 honk at a stoplight.
When you first get your car, and also, too, is you have, me, I was raised as a little brother who was tagging along when I was 15, 16 years old in high school, and going along with them to the runs and stuff, and so then it just carried on. And now I did the same thing to my little brother when he was of age, that I was able to, take him with me a couple times, and he don't have the biggest involvement in it, but I gave him the opportunity to see if he wanted to be, into the scene and stuff, and I think everybody gets on the streets. I think the streets need to be publicized too. I mean, because the East Coast streets, a lot of people that you see running the track events are all, like a lot of them came from the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
that we first heard of was on the streets of street racing in New York on the East Coast.
Yeah, a lot of the highway takeovers and stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy back there.
I wish we could do that here.
Yeah.
We can, but we just don't have enough crowd following.
That our freeways are a little crazy. We don't have all these little hide streets like New York does.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, we were gonna start off today with just kind of giving you a backstory of what we want to do with this podcast, and then also a little bit of history about both of us. So, this guy. All right. Well, since he's too afraid. I mean, it's kind of like his race style. He's too afraid.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
All right. So my name's Kevin. K-Row. As someone in line with my favorite troll, is Crow. I mean, hey.
The biggest,
can I say?
One of the big internet trolls there is.
Hey, you don't like what it happens. So, a little backstory on me. I think I got started about 99, 2000, somewhere in that realm. I don't know, you were born in like 98, I know.
Grandpa.
Started street racing, started building cars. First Honda swap I ever did was an LS and a CRX. We bought, my buddy Steven, Hardcore Bays, shout out. Actually got a Rec DA, bought himself a 91 SI, I think it was, CRX. And we pulled out the full swap, did an LS into a CRX. And that was the first swap I think I'd ever done. After that, it was on and cracking. I mean, I've had...
Shit, 99, 2000, I was still playing with RC cars.
I mean, shit. I think I've had 10 CRXs, a few Del Sols, a few Integras. I've had trucks, I've done LS swaps. I'm actually in the process of doing an LS and an S10. In the process of doing a Duramax on a 93 Blazer. And I've had countless cars, all kinds of toys. It's that passion, man. I grew up in it, I'm in it, I can't give it up.
Talk a little bit about the history that you with kind of Derek, because I met you through kind of Derek and Quinn shop at the time back in the day. That's where we met. I used to hate this guy, dude. I hate this guy.
Everybody does. They can't. Truth hurts. What can you say?
Yeah,
truth hurts.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to face the truth.
Exactly.
Talk a little bit about that history, like on racing, what you've been around, some of the cars that you've seen built. Just give a little brief that, because how many people can sit here and say that they built an LS CRX? I mean, there's a lot of them. Yeah. But you've been involved in a lot of fast cars that have been built around.
Well, I mean, shit. My very first car, I think I was 16, 17, was an 11.6 Del Sol. It was a B20 VTEC on nitrous. I bought it from Tom at Red Zone. No, not Red Zone, sorry, Red Line. Tom at Red Line in Rancho. And it was an 1160 car. It was a built B20 VTEC. I think it was a GSR Trans. The car was fun. Got me in a lot of trouble. And then from there, man, it was on. Bought a crazy wide body EF hatch with Mustang taillights and all kinds of stuff. Bought it from John at Exile. That was a big car in the streets back in the day. Hung out with Chad at, Push Performance, Barbershop. Spent some time with him, spent some time at Red Zone, spent some time with Derek at Paris, Six Sigma. I mean, all them shops. I mean, there's been countless people I've hung out with and spent time with and learned from. I mean, that's always been my biggest thing. It was never about, I want to be in this crew, or I want to be in that crew, I want to race with this person, or I want to be with that person. It was all about knowledge.
You wanted to be around racing.
It was all about racing. It was all about knowledge. It's everything that I've always wanted to be around. So it was just, where can I learn? Who can I learn from? What can I learn? I mean, that's all it ever was. I wanted to learn. So it didn't matter if I had the fastest car or if you had the fastest car. It was what I can get from you. So that's why I always tried to, talk to as many big names as I could. Hang out.
Kind of mean like, always, you never want to be the smartest guy in the room.
No.
And in the last like maybe 3 or 4 years, I've had to learn that myself. And kind of like as as my game has progressed in the last couple of years, it's kind of like I had to sit there and say, okay, look, you have to I wouldn't say I act like I knew everything, but like when we started talking, you know, I was just soaking up game, just how you were saying, just soak up the game, you know, and just learn and be willing to admit your faults and just keep progressing and just be about the sport. Just stay dedicated. You know?
I ain't got no faults. What you trying to say?
Let's not start. Let's talk about that CRX, that one that just got crushed.
Oh,
we won't talk about it.
It didn't get crushed and it wasn't a fault. There's a whole box, man, all kinds of shit back here. Every part's still here. So, you want to buy some parts?
Where's the chassis, though?
Hey, shh.
Yeah, exactly.
Chassis are nothing. We can get another one of them real quick.
Yeah.
Alright, well.
My turn?
Yeah, your turn.
My name's Factor. I drive a 94 Civic, HCB powered. It's a 1250 car. It's stock injector, stock long block. Everyone thinks it's cammed and this and that. It ain't. It's just driver mod. I started in
missing gears. Driver mod.
I started in the Shallow King. I started out, I was like 14, 15. My older cousin had a Prelude, and that's what really got me into the scene. I've always been in the cars, motorcycles and everything. My family is all muscle cars, and then when I moved to Texas and I hung around my cousin and he had his Prelude, that's when I got bit by the Honda bike, and then came back to California, and then when I was about 19 in 2009, yes, I'm a young buck, compared to you.
10 years ago?
Yeah, it was 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I bought my Civic, that was the same one I still have now.
I didn't progress much.
Went through a lot. Honestly, I went through a lot. I mean, my first time I blew my motor within like 3 months. It had 300,000 miles on it, of course. I started, dude, this funny story. Started doing my first motor swap. I was all pulling the distributor off. I'm pulling the fuel rail off. Like, everything was off, dude. I mean, I looked back and then one of my older OG homies came by. I was like, dude, what are you doing? He was like, man, you gotta do this, and that, and you know, put me on game. And ever since then, I've been HTB for about 5 years now. Went through my process with that. It's tuned by Chad at Push Performance, Barbershop Performance. Getting ready to race in Drag Race Nationals in Fontana here in a couple weeks. Getting ready for that.
Finally gonna put that name out there, huh? Finally let everybody know?
I guess so. It's something I always want to do. Was one of my goals for this year was to, you know, race out of town. I wanted, you know, that was like one of my big goals. Whether it was IFO or Drag Race Nationals, and then being that Drag Race Nationals teamed up with Race Wars. I like the way Race Wars hosts their events, so I figured, you know.
Shout out Wayne, Matt, all you guys. Great events.
You know, I figured you might as well do it. The only way to do it is, you know, I mean, the only way to progress in the game is if you keep taking that step forward. Even though it might be hurting pockets or whatever, I'm still willing to take that step, you know, and go out there. So
I mean, that's what it takes. You gotta, whether it hurts your pocket or not, you gotta get out there. You can't just sit at home and race one track and race one event and race the same 5 people over and over and over, because you're never gonna progress, thinking you're gonna be doing the same exact thing over and over and over. I mean, you look at our last 3 events, we've raced the same person in the finals every time. Every time.
Shout out Tony. Lightspeed Tony.
Right? Every event, it's been him.
Yeah.
So that's why.
No, it's not even about that, but it's more progressing and getting in a. How do you say? I had it in my head. Basically, man, you just gotta keep going and set goals for yourself. That's why, like, with so far in the last 3 or 4 years, I've kind of every year I sit down at the beginning of the year and I come up with goals for myself of what I want to do, and just how to make my racing program progress, my car progress, get it faster, and things I gotta do. So that was one of my things, was to race out of town, and then also I wanted to get the car. The car was not in the 12s until beginning of this year. Was it? No, that was last year.
That was last year. I still owe you something on that one.
Yeah, and then
that gave you your motivational push.
But no, I mean, like, I just basically I wanted to get the car faster, so.
Hey, that all motor though, it ain't easy.
All motor ain't easy, but
it ain't cheap.
You know, I've been involved in streets. You know, I started street racing like I said earlier. You know, a lot of people do street racing. Trying to make a name out there for myself. And one thing I would say is, like, you know, motivation is, like, most people, they say, like, you ask people, oh, you want to race? Oh no, you're too fast. Oh, my car's not fast enough. It's like, it's not about being fast enough, I don't think. It's about just being willing to go out there and enjoy the sport, like you were saying, just knowledge. Yeah. Because if you don't, like, you got a young kid, let's say he's got a 99 SI. A lot of guys, I don't want to race, my car's not fast, because they see me out there racing, or they see other people out there racing, like, faster cars. Like,
well, that's what I tell a lot of people too. A lot of it's seat time. A lot of his seat time. I mean, I could go take you out of a 12.5 car that's consistent as hell and throw you in a 9-second car, and you wouldn't even know what to do right off the bat.
For sure.
You would literally not know.
I could probably get it to like maybe like 11s.
Exactly.
But then it takes seat time to get used to
so that's
the
why,
power and everything.
and that's why I say a lot of people that are afraid to race other big people that are faster. It's not smart. You really should get your seat time. I mean, it takes it.
And there's like levels to it.
Yeah.
There's levels to this game that, you know, like you said, I started off with a single cam, doing single VTEC swaps, kept blowing them up, and then being retarded and doing dumb stuff. And then finally one day.
That mini-me life.
One day I put one together, and then it blew up like a week later, and I was like, you know what, screw this. I already had a lot of stuff to do HCB.
Yeah.
So I said, man, I'm just going to go HCB, man, might as well do it. And then I've just been chasing that ever since. Probably should have went K instead, but hey, I got to live with the decisions I make.
And you're different.
And I'm doing.
You want to be different.
I'm doing what I can with what I got, and I'm making it work. So I mean, I can't really complain too much about that, man. You know, I mean, eventually the goal is to take it and just keep going, getting faster. So that's what I gotta do.
Yeah. It'd be good to be covered. Whether it's you in your garage being built, whether it's a racer. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think need the limelight.
Yeah, you know. For instance, you know, you got the Fat Kid crew, Marcos, that guy, shout out to that dude, put on a hell of a show with that beautiful ass car he's got. Sergio from Yuba City, you got HB Ryan, some of the guys that put down the streets, even the SVP boys, you know, we can go down south, you know, like what was that, those dudes that were, the one that raced Steven in the second round.
The Tulare boys?
Tulare
the other
boys.
one.
I think it was Tulare boys. That hatch, I mean, that was a nice car.
I know there's.
You know what I do want to talk to you is I want to talk about that. I want to go interview those NLR guys. That CP7 that Ford.
CP7,
Yo, that surprised the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. When I first seen it, I'm like, easy W. Then when I heard it start up, I'm like, okay, never mind. And then when I walked by, I was like, damn, this thing is fucking nice. Because, you know, I fucked up, I judged the cars, but I mean, when you just judging the car on what you see, and from some experience, I kind of was like, man, about that. Man, that car is pretty damn fast. I want to get some more info on that car. You know, we want to interview guys like that, you know, and then also some of the guys in the streets, I mean, in the track. Like, what about Sinister Albert? Have you tried to get his?
Yeah,
he's one of the fastest all motor cars, you know, on the West Coast.
He is the fastest all motor car on the West Coast.
And then there you go. You know, that's something we can look forward to trying to get if he's interested. Man, we just basically want to bring the West Coast back, man.
There's a lot. I mean,
West Coast kind of where it started, so let's bring it back. You know, because if you go back to even like the Lisa Kubo days, you know what I mean? Ed Bergenholtz, you know, all those guys, you know, going back, you know.
Yeah.
I remember reading about these guys in magazines when I was little. I mean, I still have a lot of magazines from.
I mean, not to name drop, but Lisa Kubo, we were talking yesterday.
Ooh.
So.
There you go.
we were actually talking yesterday.
That's dope.
So I mean, there might be some names you don't know about that might be popping out.
You can learn something from this podcast. That's the goal, is to learn for the young generation. I know I got a lot of young following. Young kids that are younger than me that look up to me, man, and like I'm still looking up to all these dudes, chasing them, and I gotta tell them, man, you guys gotta chase me like I'm chasing them. But man, we gotta just, if you can use this so that they can learn about the history of the racing on the West Coast, because a lot of people don't know about the racing like that. I mean, even look like you know, Chuck. CBI Chuck, you know, a lot of people don't know about that dude.
That's a hidden gem.
He's an OG that.
It's a hidden
gem.
Yeah,
he's helped my game a lot, dude. I'm glad that, you know, I can call him and say, hey man, what you think about this? And he'll get, you know, he's come to my house and helped me rebuild my transmission a couple times. You know, I was stuck and he came through.
There's
no
a lot of
questions
people,
asked. You know,
there's a lot of people that look up to him, but can't ever get his help. He's old school.
I think that would be dope to get him on here,
Yeah.
because he also has a couple guys that he's got upbringing, you know, like that around my age that, you know, that he does too. So
yeah,
you know, and he's still active in the streets too, man. And that's the dopest part of that. I hopefully like one day I'm like him, you know, still at that age. I'm not gonna put his age out there.
Well, look at the guy. I mean, look at the guy at the track. There's a guy that's been going to Sac Raceway since I was 16. There's an old dude in the blue CRX.
Yeah, blue CRX.
That dude has been going to the track every event, every week for years. 20 years, 30 years, in the same blue CRX. That dude is legit. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy. Or even look at Chad. Chad's, I don't know, probably 90 now, something like that. I mean, his knees are like a 90-year-old.
He said it, not me.
What can I
Well, that's
say?
because he plays soccer.
Yeah,
80 years old, still running soccer fields.
Mexican.
I mean,
Nah,
you know, he's still in the scene, and still, you know, the
Exactly.
age thing is not thing. But get back to the track people that I was talking about. What about Berto from LSR, the all-wheel drive car? That would be dope to get him on and get his inside of it. It's one of the first. From what I'm told, it's not the first all-wheel drive Civic or car Honda that's raced. I'm not sure. I'd like to get his input on that. Because as far as the first all-wheel drive car I've ever seen that was not like a CRV or a Pilot, that was the first car I've ever seen. So a lot of people are saying that it's not.
well, you want to see how old you are or how young you are? Did you ever have a Honda Tech tag?
I came around at like the ending of that because I was reading Honda Tech in high school, but I didn't have a Honda, so like I didn't really.
Because there was all-wheel drive builds on that site.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Now they were way behind in technology that they are now with Boltons. I mean, that's the crazy part. I mean, you look at like FCS's Bolton kit. Like, you literally can take a front-wheel drive Honda and fully bolt in an all-wheel drive conversion.
After technical difficulties,
Right.
because it's gonna be problematic. Yeah.
We just talk about all-wheel drive Bolton. I mean, all that cool stuff. But I think we've been on here long enough just for the opener. Just keep your eyes peeled, guys. We have a lot of good names coming out.
In just the meantime, with our technical difficulties, we got some good info. Someone will be on this podcast that we've talked about in this episode. They just confirmed. So
I mean, I got just for I'm not gonna give you any names, but I'll give you a little bit of a scroll here. I mean, we got a lot of people coming up. So, and almost all them people have confirmed for an episode. So,
yeah, so moral of the story, let us know what you guys like, what you didn't like, who you want to see, what you want to see in the scene, like as in for us, like on our coverage part. Yeah, just let us know, give us some feedback. We're going to try to take this thing to another level and just like, you know, bring the West Coast back. That's our goal.
Yeah. As time comes, we're going to look out for more avenues also. Not just YouTube, not just social media, but Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes. I mean, we're going to try to get on almost every platform that we can to be able to get it out to you guys.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts, that's where we're going to try to go. So let us know where somewhere you listen to a podcast or watch a podcast that you might want to see us on there. Let us know if you guys want us to move into the covering of the races, of the actual events, like, you know, footage on some, like do a Soft Spot does, and a lot of the East Coast guys, because, you know, the West Coast doesn't really have that, a base media guys.
I think we would have to find someone to do that because we got too much going on between interviews and racing and stuff like that. I don't think we would have the time.
Yeah, but we can also have somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then we can
use our outlet to
add another team member to the team.
Exactly.
Someone like that.
But we'll see.
We'll see. So, yeah, for moral story, man.
I think that's about it.
So, episode 1 in the books, man. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty good. Better than the first live.
Right.
We're not gonna talk about that.
We're not gonna
Maybe
talk
one
about
day we'll release that info. If you got to see that,
we'll do some behind the scenes on that one. Just Corona's not your friend.
Yeah, Corona is not your friend.
Corona podcast.
Not at 1 a.m. It's not.
Right. So, all right, guys. Well,
thank you. Tune in.
Until next time.
We'll see you soon.